South Korea's presidential office says it will ask North Korea to conduct another probe into the death of a South Korean fisheries official. The man was fatally shot on Tuesday by the North's military. Pyongyang sent a telegram to Seoul on Friday explaining the situation. The telegram also contained an apology from North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Seoul's presidential office said Saturday the North's explanation differs in part from the South's understanding of the incident. The office also said it may call for a joint probe if necessary. Seoul says troops from the North shot the South Korean official dead at sea and burned his body. But Pyongyang says its troops lost sight of the body and merely burned the flotation device the South Korean official had been using. The North also says the shooting was carried out at the soldier's own discretion because the official tried to flee. South Korean media outlets say Pyongyang may be trying to portray the incident as accidental rather than intentional. They are urging the government to get to the bottom of the matter. Firefighters on the U.S. West Coast are battling wildfires that are believed to be some of the worst on record. One blaze in California is closing in on a historic astronomical observatory. Since late July, wildfires have scorched about 1.45 million hectares in the state of California and 400,000 hectares in neighboring Oregon. At least 36 people have been killed. Rescuers are searching for others who are missing. Blazes are raging at more than 20 locations in California alone. The fires are threatening the Mount Wilson Observatory in suburban Los Angeles. The facility was founded in 1904. Astronomer Edwin Hubble observed the Andromeda galaxy there in the 1920s. He used a 100-inch telescope that was the world's largest at the time. Officials at the observatory have been evacuated. 1,500 firefighters have been working through the night to contain the blaze. As the coronavirus sweeps around the world, the race is on to produce a vaccine. Now China says it expects to have over 600 million doses ready by the end of this year. At a news conference on Friday, the leader of the country's vaccine development team also said China would likely be able to churn out more than 1 billion doses in 2021. A senior official from the nation's science ministry says 4 of the 11 potential vaccines under development by China are in the final phase of clinical testing. He said trials both domestically and abroad are going well. He says a vaccine developed by Sinovac Biotech is being tested in South America and Southeast Asia, and one jointly developed by another firm and a People's Liberation Army laboratory is being trialed in Asia and Europe. He says there have been no reports of a side effect known as ADE, which is when virus activity is enhanced due to a vaccine. Young people from Japan and South Korea had fun participating in an annual cultural exchange event on Saturday. The affair was held online for the first time due to the coronavirus. A special website was set up for the 12th annual festival. Live broadcasts and pre-recorded contents were featured throughout the afternoon. The event normally takes place every year in Tokyo and Seoul. It is backed by the Japanese and South Korean governments. A pianist and violinist performed live in Tokyo. Pre-recorded song and dance performances by popular South Korean artists were also broadcast. In a virtual session, Japanese participants exchanged views on national differences with South Koreans who are studying the Japanese language. They also talked about the favorite artists they have in common.
We were able to communicate well. We exchanged views, and we learned about cultural differences.
The festival is regarded as one of the largest cultural exchange events between Japan and South Korea. Last year, it attracted more than 70,000 people in Tokyo. Organizers of the Carnival parade in Brazil's Rio de Janeiro say they're postponing the event due to the coronavirus. The street party is one of the world's biggest and was due to be held next February. Parade officials said on Thursday the situation is uncertain as no one knows when a vaccination will be available. They say they'll decide on a new schedule depending on progress in vaccine development. The parade of samba dancers in extravagant outfits is the highlight of the Carnival, which draws millions of partygoers from around the world. Brazil currently has the world's third highest number of coronavirus cases. Japan's prime minister has inspected the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant crippled in the 2011 tsunami disaster. It was Suga Yoshihide's first regional visit since assuming the post. Suga inspected the ongoing decommissioning work during a visit to Fukushima Prefecture. The Japanese government has been studying ways to dispose of radioactive wastewater that has accumulated at the plant. Much of the accumulated water has been used to cool molten nuclear fuel beneath a destroyed reactor. Most of the radioactive materials have been removed before the water is stored in tanks. But the treated water still contains tritium and some other radioactive substances. After completing the tour, Suga emphasized his determination.
I've confirmed that the decommissioning work at the Fukushima Daiichi plant is progressing safely and steadily. The government will take the initiative, both in the recovery of the disaster-hit areas and the decommissioning of the plant.
Suga also referred to municipalities near the plant that had been designated no entry zones. He pledged to work hard so that the evacuation orders will be lifted and residents can eventually return to their homes. Auto industry reps are descending on the Chinese capital for one of the biggest events in the car lovers' calendar. They're taking in all the latest and greatest designs and technology at the Beijing Motor Show. Officials from manufacturers around the world are using the occasion to showcase close to 800 models. The organizer concedes the event is smaller than usual, but says it's the only show of its kind in the world this year. It was originally scheduled for April, but was pushed back due to the coronavirus pandemic. Chinese consumers appear to have regained their appetite for vehicle purchases, in large part due to healthy government stimulus. They boosted car sales year on year for 5 months straight. Automakers are keen to capitalize on the trend. Many are taking their cues from Beijing's push for new energy vehicles, such as plug-in hybrid cars and EVs. They're also focusing on next-generation driver support functions.